Well, as you may have noticed, I'm doing some things differently here. This is a test to see if I can use my use a different camera to do this on and how it sounds and everything. You might also know I'm wearing a hat because I'm figuring that if I wear a hat, then people will go, "Hey, look, he's wearing a hat. What's that guy doing wearing that stupid hat? Let's check out what he has to say." Maybe he's going to make a fool of himself. Most of the videos that get a lot of hits is where somebody's getting hurt. It's not funny until somebody gets hurt, right? Or somebody's making a fool of themselves. So anyway, since my last video, in which I showed that all vaccines are essentially homeopathic in their essence, in that the word homeopathy refers to the principle of using a substance that causes a disease to cure a disease, or to cure a similar disease. There's been the usual rancor, the usual outbursts, by skeptics, people who think they're skeptics. I'm a skeptic. They say I'm a skeptic. I'm an atheist. I don't believe it. I don't believe that this is too stupid to believe because there's not one molecule in it. Well, anyway, there's been the usual rancor, the insults, the dismissive hand waving. It's not true. It's not true. Somebody has even posted, has even created an entire channel devoted to me, pretty much, to discredit me, which I presume they're doing it to discredit me. I don't think they're doing it to honor me. It's a little takeoff on my channel name, which of course I take as a compliment. So thank you very much for that, whoever's doing it. More power to you. It's only had 34 views on it, whereas my channel has had over 300,000. Which is nothing compared to Ray William Johnson. You know what he gets? What is it, like 3 billion or something? It's got more views than there are people on the earth. I think he's got a bot. Some kind of automated program that watches it for him. Maybe nobody's watching it except for him. Anyway, all of this, this angry response, to homeopathy has this is the typical response, from people who have been threatened by this, and of course, as always, they'll try to destroy the messenger. But there are some scientists, like Emil von Behring, that when they get over, when they get older and they win the Nobel Prize, they aren't threatened by all of this backlash, and they feel like they can speak their mind about it. And Emil Behring is considered the father of immunology, and he felt compelled to say that no other word other than homeopathy better defines the immunological response. So it's no coincidence that both Edward Jenner, the man who's credited with the modern use of the smallpox vaccine, and Samuel Hahnemann, the founder of homeopathy, both revealed their relative discoveries in the same year, 1796, and that Hahnemann specifically said that Jenner's discovery was his proof, Hahnemann's proof, for homeopathy. See, the problem is that people are confusing similitude, like cures like similia, what they say similia similibus, currenter, like cures like. They're confusing that with attenuation. Homeopathy doesn't mean dilution. There's nothing in the word inherently that means anything about dilution. That's something that was discovered later. It's true that homeopaths make use of highly diluted substances, but the concept and practice of homeopathy didn't begin that way, nor is it confined to that. There are all sorts of homeopathic examples of how like cures like that you can see for yourself. Like when you burn your hand, put it very quickly back over the stove subject the burn part, to the heat again a little bit. I mean, don't put it right back on it, but you just expose it to it, and it helps the burn heal quicker. Frostbite is another example. You shouldn't rub snow on it, but if you put snow on frostbite, it'll help it. It'll help the immune process. It'll help the healing process. Okay. Fire. Fight fire with fire. Right. Hair of the dog that bit you. A cup of coffee. You give one of these attention deficit kids a cup of coffee. Around 10 o'clock in the morning, they'll settle down. Helps them to sleep. So, it's not just you don't find the homeopathic response just in vaccines and immunology, but also in everyday things. Magnetically, like repels like. Similar poles repel. Opposite poles attract. You knew that. You know that. And this concept is enough to explain the chemical action of homeopathics. And because homeopathy is magnetic, is a magnetic phenomena, it doesn't make use of the law of mass action, of material mass action, mass material action. Okay, it makes the use of magnetic action and the molecular self-assembly of allotropes. Okay? Hahnemann didn't invent the use of substances diluted in water and alcohol with like cures like, the use of similars. That came afterwards. He did that afterwards. Hahnemann first experimented and proved the action of similitude before he discovered this trick of making hazardous materials or substances safe to use by diluting them out in water and alcohol first. His first experiments were with like cures like, and he conducted these by dosing himself with quinine. In his time, it was common to treat malarial fevers with quinine. So he overdosed himself with quinine and gave him a fever. Voila! That was his epiphany. You could have one too, an epiphany. You could have, maybe you're having one right now. Maybe you're having an epiphany. Anyway, and when he saw how Jenner's vaccine cured smallpox or prevented people from getting it, he said, "That's it, man. That's it, baby." He said, "That's it. That proves it. That proves the action of homeopathy." And just like in chemistry, the action of solvents, like dissolves like, and water, which is the key mediator in homeopathic remedies, is a highly polymorphic product solvent. So this whole business of dilution in homeopathy was something that was developed after the discovery of similitude and years of experimenting in diluting out, the mass of dangerous substances and creating basically a magnetic analog of the substance imprinted on water. Well, that brings me to an interesting thing. I probably can't say this often enough. They say, well, if it takes the imprint of the solvent or the solute that's passed through it, of things that have been in it, then like sewage, then how come we're not drinking sewage? How come it's all sewage? Well, the answer to that is obvious. It's self-evident. It's like any magnetic recording media. It's stupid. It gets erased. It gets erased, okay? The new imprint erases the old one. So they go, well, Matt, it can't work because it would remember. No, it doesn't remember everything. And when you look at magnetic recording tape, what moves around in there? What physically moves around in there, huh? Nothing. Nothing. It's all embedded. The magnetic or the iron particles are all embedded in there, aren't they? Nothing moves. It's the shift is in polarity. It's all electromagnetic. That's what homeopathy is, electromagnetic. And Hahnemann said that back in 1810. He was saying that. So this is how it works. It's magnetic. And he didn't have the advantage of a lot of the instrumentation that we do now. That proves it. It proves it. Okay, so what I'd like to do is take this yet another level and say that the principle, and this follows, that the principle that governs homeopathy is present in all matter, okay? And why homeopathy, aside from nutrition, or I should say, and this is why, homeopathy, aside from nutrition, okay, is the only curative medicine on the planet today. And so this then brings us to the issue of dilution, how it is, and what it is, and how it works. All right.